What's up, travelers? Summation Kid here. Now, before I go any further, let me just say that if you like Tighnari as a character, you like how he looks, you like the ears, you like the tail, anything like that, if you're a Husbando collector, basically, if you know you're gonna love Tighnari unconditionally, regardless of how he performs, then just pull for Tighnari. At the very least, get one copy of him. For those of you who are more on the fence, then this video will help you decide whether or not you want to pull for him. So the way we'll approach this is by breaking down travelers into one of four groups. So you can either be a Tighnari wanter or not, or you can be a whale or not. Basically, the four groups are then going to be Tighnari wanters who are whales, Tighnari wanters who are not whales, so this is either free to play or light spenders, non-Tighnari wanters who are whales, and non-Tighnari wanters who are not whales. We'll do the easiest one first. If you are a Tighnari wanter who is going for his C6, who is going to whale for him, then I highly suggest that you get his C6 before patch 3.1 drops. The reason is because once Tighnari is added to the Wanderlust Invocation standard banner in patch 3.1, he is most likely not going to have any more reruns. He's not going to have any more banners dedicated to him thereafter. So at that point, your only way of getting Tighnari is going to be just getting lucky when you wish on the standard banner, or when you lose your 50-50. And that is, of course, not a reliable way to get a character, let alone their constellations. And of course, you can forget about C6ing them unless you want to spend $10,000 buying a Quaint Fates. Actually, even then, you probably won't get a C6. Anyway, my point is, if you are going for Tighnari's C6, which does happen to be really good, it reduces his aimed shot / charge attack time by 0.9 seconds, and he is a charged shot character, just like Ganyu. So once again, if you are going for that, if you are going for his C6, then you're going to have to whale for him during patch 3.0, because after that, in patch 3.1, he's being added to the standard banner, which means no more reruns. Okay, so now let's do the other easy group of travelers, non-Tighnari wanters who are light spenders or free to play. For those of you who fall into this category, then the answer is quite simple. Skip Tighnari. The reasons are also quite simple. You don't want Tighnari, and he's probably not going to be a particularly overpowered character. And of course, you should only pull for a character if you either like the character itself, so the character's design, personality, looks, and so on, or if the character is going to add a lot of value to your account, usually by virtue of either being overpowered or very convenient. So for example, characters like Sayu and Yelan are really good for travel, right? While somebody like Kazuha or Venti, they're really good for another kind of travel, the vertical type. So that makes those characters really convenient. Tighnari, on the other hand, doesn't really have any convenience features, and like I said, he's not going to be particularly overpowered or meta-defining. The reason for that is because, well, he's being added to the standard banner, and he's going to be the first 5-star Dendro character. So if he's being added to the standard banner, then miHoYo can't really make him overpowered, because the standard banner characters are ones that most people will at some point get, and they don't want people to get overpowered characters without having to spend Primogems or Intertwined Fates. And since he is the first 5-star Dendro character, that's another reason he can't be too good, because if they make him too good, then they're going to have trouble selling 5-star Dendro characters down the road. So those two reasons together mean that Tighnari is most likely not going to be an amazing character, in terms of gameplay and power level and such. And like I said, he doesn't really have any convenience features, so he doesn't really add a whole lot of value to your account, assuming again that you're not a Tighnari wanter. Of course, you might be thinking, well, he's Dendro, right? He's the first 5-star Dendro character. Well, that is true, but keep in mind that there is going to be one Dendro character that everybody will have, Dendro Traveler, as well as Kalei in the upcoming event. So you don't need Tighnari to have access to Dendro. So if you are a non-Tighnari wanter who is either free to play or a light spender, then you most likely shouldn't pull for Tighnari, because number one, you're not a Tighnari wanter, which means you don't inherently like the character. Number two, he's being added to the standard banner, and the fact that he's the first 5-star Dendro means there's probably going to be a cap to how powerful he is. And number 3, if you want access to Dendro, you have the Dendro Traveler and Calais in the upcoming 3.0 event. Now let's move on to the third group of travelers, and these are non-Tighnari wanters who are whales. So for those of you, it's a wash. Really, I won't tell you how to spend your money. If I were a whale, then I would probably want to collect at least one of every character in the game, even if I didn't really want them. Of course, on the flip side, because Tighnari's being added to the standard banner come patch 3.1, you're probably, as a whale, going to get him down the line anyway. Now, to be fair, there is also the fact that even though the Dendro character, or Dendro Traveler rather, and Calais will give you access to Dendro, they're still going to play differently from Tighnari, since they'll have different kits. So I guess that's a potential reason that a non-Tighnari wanter whale would pull for Tighnari. So the only reason that a non-Tighnari wanting whale would pull on Tighnari's banner in patch 3.0 is if they absolutely have to experience how he plays as soon as possible. Again, even if they don't actually like the character, which is kind of a weird situation. So basically, my recommendation for you travelers, non-Tighnari wanters who are whales, is to just, again, skip Tighnari, because even if you want to collect all the characters in the game, you eventually will get Tighnari even if you skip his banner, because he's being added to the standard banner. So there's really no reason to pull for Tighnari if you're not a Tighnari wanter, even if you are a whale. Now finally we have the last group of travelers, and these are Tighnari wanters who are light spenders or free-to-play. This is, I would say, the most interesting group of travelers to talk about, and you probably also make up most of the people who are watching this video. Now, the way I see it, you have basically 3 options. Number 1, pull for Tighnari and his constellations. Number 2, just pull for the character and let the standard banner or 50-50 losses do the work for his constellations. Or number 3, don't pull on his banner and just hope you get him from the standard banner or losing 50-50s. So I know a lot of travelers out there, including Tighnari wanters, think that this is a feasible approach. That since he's being added to the standard banner, we can just wait to get him by losing 50-50s or just by spending the Acquaint Fates that the game gives you. Now, if you are indeed a Tighnari wanter, I would strongly caution against this, because it's absolutely not guaranteed that you will get him, at least within a reasonable time frame. So let's break down the math. Let's say that you are pulling on the standard banner. There are 10 weapons, 10 5-star standard weapons, and 5 currently 5-star standard characters on that banner, the Wanderlust Invocation standard banner. So each time you hit pity, which is only going to happen a few times every year if you are a free-to-play or light spender, then you actually only have a 1 in 16 chance of getting Tighnari, because after he does get added to the banner, there are going to be 6 characters and still 10 weapons. On the other hand, if you are pulling on a character banner and you lose the 50-50, you're going to have a 1 in 6 chance, since you can't get 5-star weapons from losing 50-50s on character banners. So think about that for a second. When you pull on the standard banner, you only have a 1 in 16 chance of getting Tighnari each time you hit pity. And even if you're losing 50-50s on the character banners, you only have a 1 in 6 chance of getting Tighnari. So hopefully you can see now why it makes a lot more sense, why so many AR60 players still don't have Jean or Mona or whatever other standard 5-star that they're missing. So if you are indeed a Tighnari wanter, definitely don't leave it up to chances like that. Now let's look at the other extreme, going for Tighnari's constellations as a free-to-play / light spender. This is something that I would not recommend because unlike characters like Raiden or Hu Tao, Tighnari's constellations are not really front-loaded. That is to say, his powerful constellation is his C6 and not his C1 or C2 or anything like that. In other words, going for Tighnari's constellations is more of an all-or-nothing deal. And since we, as light spender or free-to-play travelers, can't afford the all, then it's going to have to be the nothing. So that leads to the final option and what I recommend, which is to get one copy of Tighnari during his patch 3.0 banner so that you actually have the character, and then just let the standard banner or 50-50 losses do the rest. That way you actually have the character to play with, which you should be happy about since you're a Tighnari wanter, and you also have a chance of getting his constellations without having to spend additional primogems / intertwined fates to get them, which might actually be the best of both worlds, since now you can both save more primos for other characters you may want, and you also get a chance of getting Tighnari's constellations in the future. So just to quickly summarize all the scenarios we went over in this video. If you are not a Tighnari wanter, then simply don't pull for Tighnari period, unless you are a whale and you don't mind dropping a bunch of money just to be able to try out a new character, even though you're probably going to get him down the line anyway. If you are a Tighnari wanter who is planning to whale for him and get his C6, then you had better do so in patch 3.0, because he is not going to be getting his own reruns later on since he's being added to the standard banner in patch 3.1. And finally, if you are a Tighnari wanter who is a light spender or free to play, then my recommendation is to grab one copy of him during his banner in patch 3.0, and then just let the standard banner or lost 50-50s do the rest of the work in terms of getting his constellations. So that's it for this video, folks. If you have any more questions about Tighnari, his banner, or anything else Genshin related, feel free to drop a comment and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I hope all of you travelers found this video useful and or interesting, and I'll see you in the next one.